So it's currently 8 minutes past 9 in the night, and I've just completed off a successful trading day. So literally I was able to make at least $700 on this XNS account, as you can see right here. I caught some sell trades, and also I was able to flip this account from $500 to $1,149, as you can see. Then also this account right here from $999 to almost $1,322. So I've literally made more than 3,000 US dollars today from trading this one setup traders. And I want to teach you this setup because again, this is a setup that you see every single time in the forex market, and it gives you confirmation. It has a low risk entry point and it has high probability points, or what we call pips. Now traders, I want you to watch this video from the start to the end because it's going to be massive. If you have been struggling finding a profitable setup, this is going to be the one. So if you're new around here, let's get started with this video. Make sure to subscribe. Now traders, the secret in succeeding in the forex market is just one: find a profitable setup and only trade it whenever you see that setup. So I want to show you this setup that I've been seeing for the longest. Now I trade gold and I like to trade in the 5 minutes time frame. So the setup I'm talking about is going to rotate around demand and supply. Now for those people that don't know what demand and supply is, I'm going to illustrate for you guys here. Now anytime when we have price pushing from a zone, so let's say this is the zone that price is pushing up from. So anytime when you have price push from a zone like this and it's pushing up with big momentum candles like this, as you can see, these candles here create what we call fair value gaps, and then hence a demand zone or a supply zone. So most times you have to, you have seen probably price was coming in a downtrend, and then this was the last red candle before the green ones, as you can see. So let's say this was the last candle before the green ones, this candle right here, as you can see. So this would be our last candle, the red one. Then these would be the new green candles. Now anytime when these candles are like this are created, it means the zone that created this zone is a demand zone because it caused an aggressive push to the upper side. Now anytime when you see such markets like this, they have to reach a turning point, and then they have to probably reverse and come back down to the downside to this zone to tap in here and then go back to the upper side, depending on the market structure. Now this is vice versa, the same as a supply zone. A supply zone, you need to see probably the last green candle was probably this one. Now what you want to do is we want to see big red candles like this, and then these have to be at least 3 big candles. As you can see, we need to see such big candles like this, just like this, as you can see. Now the zone that caused this is called the supply zone, so we always want to mark out the supply zone like this. So when price comes back there, we want to see price come back there, tap in. Let's say price comes back there like this, tap in, and then go back to the other side. That is what we want to see. Then for the demand zone, what we want to see is always price come back, come back, probably go back, retest, and then come back here, and then probably go to the upper side. This is what we always want to see. So not every time that when price comes back there it will probably bounce off. Sometimes price will just bounce off a little and then reverse, but most of the times we see price bounce off at least more than 30 pips, as you can see. Now let me show you this one in live market. So I was able to catch some trades using this same setup, and guys, only use this one, gold. Reason why we see gold spiking all the time, like literally look at this, gold has just been spiking when I was sitting here, and I was able to catch some sell trades, as you can see. This zone caused this upside move, as you can see. Now price reaches a turning point, which is this one right here, you can see. Now what does price do? Price reverses, as you can see. This is a turning point here, price reverses immediately when it reaches that, as you can see. The same exact thing I'm going to teach you guys. Now let's get started this video. Now traders, I'm going to start with today's trades that I've been catching. Now today's trades, I started catching my trade from here. So the first thing we're going to do is always look out for aggressive buying and aggressive selling in the market. That is all you have to look out for. So I'm going to start from this zone right here. So we had this support zone right here. This support zone, as you can see, when you look closely, we had first of all an aggressive buying from this part right here. So we had price aggressively move from here to up here. Now here price created a support zone, you can see. Now literally everyone knows price is going to come back to this demand zone, but obviously price won't just come there. You need to understand also on support zones we can find demand and supply. So on this case we had the price aggressively bounce off from here, which is our support zone. Price pushes up and creates again an impulsive move to the upper side, but remember price has not created an impulsive move on here. It created the first one here, we had an aggressive selling. You can see we have 1, 2, 3 big candles, and we have fair value gap. Fair value gaps are always sufficient price action, meaning price has to always come here to fill up these gaps, and then at this point right here. Now let's start with this one. So you can see, guys, how we had this aggressive selling from this part right here to down here. So now the zone that caused this aggressive selling, we always want to mark it out and just mark out the candle, the first candle before price started dropping. So this is the candle right here. When you mark it out, you drag this to the future, because if price ever comes back to that zone, you want to catch a trade off it. Now this was the first aggressive selling we had, as you can see. Now we need to see price go back and onto this zone. So if we make money in two ways. First of all, when price is pushing back up like this, to go back and fill up this gap. Now how do I know price is going to reverse? Obviously this zone. So when price came back down, tapped into this zone, obviously I know this is a support zone. We always buy off support zones, as you can see. Now this is not just a support zone, this is also an aggressive zone, which is a demand zone. Now price bounces off from here too, and then pushes up here. But as price is pushing up here, it's creating also another impulsive move. You can see 1, 2, 3 big candles with the fair value gaps in here, meaning this is another demand zone. You can see. Remember, sometimes when you see a market that looks like a ranging market, that is, we're having demand and supply. Supply is always up and then demand is always down. You can see this market looks like that, like a ranging market. Now, so the way we take this trade, we always want to take the trade when price closes back from in here, and you can always see that in a smaller time frame. But since I'm on the 5-minute time frame, you can literally see right there. But for more confirmation, you can always jump into the 15 minutes time frame to have more proper confirmation candles. You can see literally we had rejections. You can see, traders, we had rejections on the 15 minutes time frame. You can see right there. So meaning you take your trade on the smaller time frame, which is the 5-minute time frame, and what you want to see is price closing back from in there, as you can see. So we see price close back from in here, as you can see, then indicates we're going to have a push back to the upper side. Now here we're taking this trade, but we're targeting this as our take profit and all these gaps in here. So this would be our first trade here, as you can see. Again, this is something that I see all the time. Like, you only trade this when you see it. So price closed back from there, and I'm going to put my stop loss below. You can put it there, you can put it even there, and then you're going to target the fair value gap as your first target. So this would be our first trade, as you can see, guys. Now remember, when price was pumping up to the upper side like this, it created also a demand zone. Remember, demand zones are zones that are where we see aggressive buying. So we see aggressive buying. Now what do you want to do? You want to always also mark out this exact zone, the red candle before the green candles happened. You want to mark it out from here to down here, then pull this to the future just like that. Now guess what? Now we want price to come back down there. So again, when price is pushing up like this, you want to know when is price going to reverse. Price obviously reverses at the supply zone. Now here we want to know, now has price side coming back down, what signs do we have? Now here you can see we first had a rejection. So you can see, traders, now we need to know if price comes as far as this, has it reached a time of turning? Because remember, we always want to take two trades. We can always take the first trade when price is coming back from here. Like I'll give you this example. So now, since we have this supply zone already, we can always first catch this trade when price is coming back from this zone to this zone. Then we catch another trade when price is bouncing off from here to here. You understand? So my first trade was from here to up here, then from here to down here. Because again, this zone here was created. This is a demand, this is a demand zone. Now what caused this demand zone to happen? This zone right here. Now price has to go and reverse from somewhere. So this part right here, this is our supply zone, and not just a supply zone but also a resistance. Remember, we sell from resistance. So right here, when price tapped into here, obviously to first take out liquidity to show that it's going to pump to the upper side, but immediately it closes below here. So what we wanted to see is I drew this right here as my resistance, as you can see. You can see now when you look closely, price side consolidating from here. And remember, when consolidations are happening, orders are being accumulated. So when you see the smaller time frame, which is the 15 minutes time frame, now we started seeing this consolidation right here. Now anytime when you see consolidation, you just want to see one key thing. We want to see price consolidate, and then after we want to see a breakout and then a pull back onto the consolidation. So what we want to do is when we see consolidations like that, we mark them out like this, as you can see. Now we just want to see price break and close below this consolidation, which we can see that on the 1 minute time frame. Obviously, when you can see some things on the 15 minute time frame, you can just zoom into the 1 minute, since we're trading gold. Now when we come back here, you see that. So traders, you can see how we had price break and then we had almost a slight pullback, but we just wanted to see price close below this consolidation. Now here you take your other trade. Remember, we're targeting demand and supply zones, as you can see. So you take your other trade, put your stop loss up there, and then target this liquidity zone right here, as you can see. That will be our other target, as you can see. You can see. So let's go back into the 5 minutes time frame so that you can see that clearly, as you can see. So that will be our other trade. Remember, we had first of all a supply zone, then we had a demand zone. You can see, guys. Now, as we had the demand zone, we had another zone right here, which is again. So now remember, traders, we always want to catch another trade when price reaches our zone here. Now remember, price reached this zone right here and then bounced off at least 30 pips from here. So you would catch another trade right here. Now, the trades that I like to take when I'm trading demand and supply, I always want to take trades when price is coming back down to the demand or supply zone, because it's a must. Price has to come there. Reason why, we have this fair value gap, price has to come there. You can see how price pushed from here to up here. We had that fair value gap. We have this fair value gap right here that price has to come and fill. Like, these gaps are always a must. You can see price has to fill them. Not so always a must, but at least price, the 98%, at least 80% price fills these gaps. As you can see, these gaps right here, you can see at least price fills them up, as you can see. So that is why we trade these. Now remember, now our other trade would be this one right here. Now the whole thing that caused this, the whole thing that caused the price to go back up here is this zone right here. You can see I mark it out like that and then drag it to that side, as you can see. Now traders, you can see literally we have had so many demand supply zones in the market. We had this push up here. Now we had to have price come back and fill this gap. Literally, even though you miss out on all these, at least be patient until price will come to one of your zones. You can see this one, price has came back there, but this was in the New York market. This was in the London session. Whatever I've showed you here was in the London session. This was all in the London session. Let me show you, traders. This was all in the London session. This was in the London session, as you can see. These were all in the London session, these trades. And then we had this happen in the New York market. But now this, we had more confluence. So we had the confluence right here. We had this trend line, as you can see. We also had a trend line bounce from that side, like this, as you can see. Now we had confluence where price was going to come down to. So here we had again price come down to this demand zone. Again, demand zone is comprised of 4 or 5 big candles or 3 candles that have fair value gap in there, because it's only the banks that causes the market to move up like this. So we had price come back again here. So these are the most beautiful trades to take, mostly during the New York time, because when price comes back on onto demand zone during the New York time, it will just bounce off and then reverse immediately. But here we had confluence. We had a demand zone, which is also a support zone, and then we had a trend line. Obviously, you can see one thing you know about trend lines most times are 100% accurate. Most times they're 100% accurate. So this would be our other trade. This other trade, we take it targeting this upper part right here. With all these trades, guys, these are low risk entry point trades. You can use this to flip account. Most of you guys have been seeing my free group. If you're not in my free group, make sure to join my free group. I'll be leaving the link below this video. You guys have seen how I've been flipping $500 accounts to $3,000, $4,000 by just using this same exact strategy. Again, this happens all the time. You just have to be patient. When you see something form, like I'll give you an example. So this has been forming, as you can see. So we had price bounce off, and from this zone, as you can see, again we have aggressive buying, as you can see. Now sometimes I'll ignore price going up, but I want to know how far is price going to go back up and then reverse. You can see price stopped at this resistance. You see, and this is not just a resistance, this is a very strong zone, which is a supply zone, obviously. Now this supply zone, price has to bounce off and start coming down. Now I always catch this sell trend, because this is automatic. Price has to come down, it has to really come down and then fill up all these gaps right here, as you can see. And then we shall think of taking a buy trade on price, which is this zone right here. This is one of the easiest ways I've made money from the forex market, because this is easy to see and it's very easy to see and interpret. If I don't see this setup, I'm not going to be in the markets, man. Again, success in the forex market is trading the same setup that you trade every time. You see, traders, you can literally see when I pull this side, you can see price almost tapped into that supply zone. From this side, you can see price tapped into this supply zone. From this side, you can see, traders. So that is how I've been able to make money on a daily basis, guys. Trading is a business, and you have to make sure to treat your business in a good way. Have setups, be disciplined, don't overtrade, stop FOMO, fear of missing out. Most people would be jumping on buys here, just people buying. But sometimes if you take one buy and then it's a wrong entry, if price reverses a little bit like this and you've over risked, you lose so much money. But if you're more patient, if price taps in here, takes out liquidity, you can always make more money than people who have been buying here. You take more money and more confidence, because you know price has come onto a supply zone and it's going to drop, man. So that was the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next. Peace.